If you had $1 for every time you've heard about Australia's two-speed economy and the struggles of the non-mining sector, you'd probably be very rich. However, there is one non-mining related industry that's going gangbusters, and that's cruising, with record numbers of Australians taking to the seas for their holidays. This report from Andrew Robertson.
Okay, you're going to help me drive, are you? Well, I'm looking for some help here.
Captain Graham Goodway welcoming P&O's 3 millionth Australian passenger on the dock in Sydney. The first 2 million passengers took 25 years, the last million just 4.
The fact it is the 3 millionth passenger and the fact the last million came up so quickly shows that cruising is becoming ever more popular and Australians take to the water very well indeed.
Just how well is shown by the latest figures. 467,000 Australians took a cruise holiday last year, a record increase of 27% on 2009. 9 years ago, just 116,000 Australians took a cruise holiday. So why the boom?
We think the cruise industry is doing well because it's offering a different type of product. It has great destinations as part of a cruise, mainly throughout the Pacific Islands.
Which are by far the most popular destination for those taking a cruise. Cruising Australia's coastline ranks second with 19% of the market.
We thought it's a family-friendly holiday and with lots of fun, and we're looking forward to go to all the beautiful islands.
With growth so strong and passenger numbers so high, cruising is big business.
The contribution of cruise to the Australian economy is now well in excess of $1 billion. And we know that that contribution is being spread quite diversely from not only the major city and ports, but into regional areas as well.
It's not just Australians enjoying the delights of this region. Foreign cruise tourists are joining them in record numbers, and that's prompting the big overseas cruise lines to send their biggest ships here as well.
We are seeing an amazing trend in the size of ships being deployed here in Australia, and the next 2 years will really be evidence of that. And the size of ships determines the number of passengers being brought here and travelled around our destinations.
The surge in the popularity of cruising has highlighted that, like many other industries, it's also having problems with infrastructure. Sydney is the undisputed cruise capital of Australia, with nearly 500,000 passenger nights every year. There's a cruise terminal on the other side of the Harbour Bridge there at Circular Quay. Behind me is what passes for Sydney's second terminal. For those who study the industry closely, adequate port facilities are a big issue.
It's fair to say some of the landside infrastructure is dated, if not underdeveloped, and if we're to be globally competitive in cruise shipping, we need the right sort of port facilities to entice those superliners to come to our country.
In Sydney, the cruise industry is lobbying hard for long-term access to the Garden Island Naval Facility, which has prompted a federal government review. But the Tourism and Transport Forum's John Lee says other ports also have their problems.
You only have to look at the example of Cairns, where you actually now do have a facility, but you need to dredge the actual area because some of the larger boats can't even access that terminal.
So it's not all plain sailing for governments, but John Lee says they'll have to get their acts together if they're to play their part in driving the spectacular growth of the cruise industry.